I am Liv Antilla, also known as Liv for Hoops, and today I have the new head men's basketball coach, Charlie Ward, here with me today. How are you doing, Coach Ward?
I'm doing well, Liv. Appreciate you having me on. And I hear that you're a Rattler as well, former Rattler.
Yes, former, few years past. So I'd love to jump right into
Okay.
it. Yeah, I'd love to jump right into it. And I'd like to start in Thomasville, Georgia, where you're originally from. That is considered a small town, and it's also known as ranked nationally as one of the best small towns in the South. So, how did your childhood and growing up in a small town shape your approach to academics and athletics?
Well, from an academic standpoint, I think it's all the same. Wherever you come from, small town, large city, it doesn't really matter. From a athletic standpoint, it was a place where I grew up in a different time,
Yeah.
era, in a sense. But I mean, we were neighborhood first, so we went outside and played with our neighbors. That's where a lot of our games started in the neighborhood, and then it trickled to middle school and high school games and what have you. But our town was littered with great athletes that went on to do great things. We had quite a few in the NFL, quite a few go to college, major, you and some. I think I may have been one of the few to make it in the NBA. But that part of it, was just it helps when you come from a small town. It blows the town up. It gives
Yeah.
them bigger name. So now people know who Thomasville is, because of those things. But we've had other, top notch people come out of Thomasville
Mhm.
as well in other areas. But they definitely support their athletics there.
I love that. And then going from a small town to the big stage of being a Seminole, what prepared you mentally and emotionally to be a dual sport athlete at Florida State?
Well, my upbringing kind of helped prepare me. My parents were all about discipline, and they gave us responsibilities. Um, Also, just coming from, I had six siblings, so having to navigate, that whole deal of family and supporting one another. All those things help prepare you for what you're going to do.
Mhm.
As far as being on a team, I was afforded a gap year, so I was on my own in a sense for 1 year, trying to figure out life while I was preparing to go to Florida State. But once I got to Florida State, of course, there was a lot of structure there
Mhm.
with football, which kind of helps shape your schedule because you
Mhm.
don't have very much time to do much of anything else. And then the football aspect, not having the pressure of feeling like I had to go and play. My first year, even though I was the punter, which was not my primary position, but it was an opportunity for me to see the landscape of what happens on the road when they go on the road, the fans, the meeting schedule, all those things were very helpful my first year without the pressure of being a quarterback and playing. And then, just that's kind of how, I was being prepared or how I was prepared mentally to be able to, you know, make it in a
Mhm.
sense, just not having the pressure of feeling like, like first year on a new campus, figuring out the landscape, academics, study hall, all those things, you had to figure out. but I didn't have to worry about, you know, being on the being on the big stage
Yeah.
as the quarterback with all the pressure of, all the things you have to do, trying to figure out all those other things as well. So I had some time.
Yeah. And so, like, you're really known as an elite two sport athlete. You excelled once you got to that position of the quarterback, as in football and basketball, being the point guard for Florida State, all while winning the Heisman Trophy in 1993. So, what helped you stay focused while you were navigating two different teams? 'Cause obviously, football, as you said, had a very strict schedule, but how was it like balancing both of those in a collegiate setting?
So the good thing about my situation was I didn't have any outside interests competing. And what I mean by that was I was an introvert. So I enjoyed sports. So when I started playing both sports at one time, I mean, in one season or one year,
Mhm.
I was going from football practice to basketball practice for the first 2 years, essentially, in some form or fashion. And so the other times that I wasn't doing those things, I was doing, you know, academics,
Mhm.
study hall, or whatever the case may be. So those were really, I mean, I might have had a girlfriend in there a time or two, so spending time with her at the time,
Mhm.
was like the other part. So I didn't have a whole lot of other things that I got involved with, in a sense, outside of some PASAs and community outreach stuff, those types of things I did as well. But I wasn't a party guy. I didn't travel a lot, so there I had a lot of time to be
Yeah.
able to do the things that I wanted.
It was just books and sports. I get it. You were super focused. I love that. And then you went on to be a first round draft pick in the NBA. You stopped in places for like the New York Knicks, the San Antonio Spurs, and the Houston Rockets. After you finished playing, you started your coaching career with the Houston Rockets under Jeff Van Gundy. So how did your playing and coaching experience in the NBA help mold you into the coach that you are today?
Well, we are byproduct of our experiences. That's
Mhm.
everyone, and so we've learned. I've learned a lot from all of my experiences, from college to the pros, and now I coached high school for about 16 years before I got into college collegiate coaching this year. Um, and so all those experiences taught me a lot. My rookie year, Coach Van Gundy invested in me and my skill development. I was part of his job, but he was willing to do it. And I got better from it. And it built a long lasting relationship because of what he was, I mean, what we were, that connection. Um, I played with a lot of Hall of Famers. And I learned a lot of things from them and their work habits and the things that they do, learning from them, and also just challenging them to be better. Helped me understand what leadership was all about because at the end of the day, regardless of what your status is, you still have to get the job done. And that's one of the things I talk to our guys about all the time is regardless of whether you the first man or last man, the guy who's getting out the pub or not, if you see something, you have to say something to hold people accountable if that's what we're trying to get accomplished. And so playing with other superstars in the NBA definitely helped me because I wasn't a superstar. Uh, Helped me to understand how to deal with high profile guys,
Mhm.
um, just in general.
Yeah.
Um, and I also learned from quality coaches, on how to deal with high profile guys and then other guys, as well, how to develop them.
Hmm.
So all those experiences, playing, the games that I went through as well, all those experiences, and building relationships. That's the big thing that I talk to people about all the time is, you never know who's going to help you get to where you're trying to get to. So you have to make sure that you're building relationships throughout. And so now I can pick up the phone and call, certain people because I built relationships over the years. I met Allen Houston, is a guy that I call, and we're friends. And he's still in the NBA. Monty Williams is another guy. We grew up, we're best friends. He's not in the pros anymore, but he's in high school. But now we're sharing thoughts on while I was in the NBA. We were reaching out, and I was getting things from him that he was doing. Just being able to have connections from people that I were able to build relationships with while I was in the NBA,
Hmm.
and they'll pick up the phone, you know, because we have those relationships. So that's how things are shaping me to where I am today,
Hmm.
as a coach here, is just the different experiences and being able to share those experiences with the young men because someone did it for me.
Right. I love that. Relationship building is such an important factor, especially as a student athlete, because eventually the time runs out for everyone and you need those relationships to, navigate different things that you go through, whether it's a coach or a teammate or anyone that helped you along your journey.
That is correct because what we're finding out now is sometimes the lady or the man next to you may become a billionaire,
Yeah.
and and if you were friends with that guy, you may jump well. And so that's why it's important, that you maintain great friendships, and you treat people with respect,
Right.
at all times.
Yeah, exactly. Whether it's like you said, whether you're the first man getting all the pub or the last man on the bench, the same, whether it's the CEO or the janitor, everyone deserves respect and it gets you very far in life with how you treat people. So,
That is true. You want to make sure you're treating the janitor right because they clean stuff. They
right.
they make sure the hygiene and all that is good. And
Right.
if you don't treat them with respect, now you having to do it or you're dealing with it. Whatever the case may be. So everyone deserves respect because we have a role. And that's not to say the janitor's role is that, but I'm just saying we have to respect everyone, and everyone has a role to play within the organization.
Right. And to go to your family a little bit and still connect to FAMU, both of your parents attended FAMU as well as your sister. So, how does your deep family connection to Florida A&M impact your approach to coaching and mentoring these young student athletes?
Well, the approach is not different. I mean, everywhere I've gone is I have the same approach, regardless of where I am. It's just a different environment, and different ties. So FAMU is where I was actually born. I was born at
Mhm.
Foot Hillier, with a Foot Hillier building now. But I was born there. I grew up coming to all the FAMU football games because my dad and mom, of course, he's a coach, and some of his players attended Florida A&M, so we would come down and support them. We would come in regardless, I do believe, regardless of he players, because they were both FAMU, um, alums. And then my sister, while she was here, I helped move her into her dorms, met her roommates and all the different things. So, I was, on campus a lot,
Mhm.
in that regard. But it's one where things, of course, have changed. The building that I'm currently in right now wasn't here when I was coming to campus, the Lawson Center. And but it's still FAMU. It's still orange and green, and there it's changed over the years, but the tradition and the history, it remains.
Mm-hmm.
And so footsteps, because a lot of times I get I'm the one that people are shunning. They don't want to walk in my footsteps because they feel like they were too big or whatever. But now I get a chance to walk in my parents' footsteps. Hopefully, I can make them proud with the way I go about handling my business and uh, doing things that we're doing to help elevate the program
Mm-hmm.
and the brand.
And FAMU has a rich tradition, and in years past, athletics has played a part in that. But to be quite frank, the men's basketball program is essentially a work in progress to get back to having significant success. So, how have you started, and how do you plan to build your own culture within the FAMU culture of winning and sustainability for this men's basketball program?
Well, I guess it depends on what you equate to winning, because
I
winning
mean,
to
whatever you
us
think is
looks like,
winning.
yeah, winning to us. Of course, everybody looks at the scoreboard and the records to decide whether you're winning or not. Which, you know, I've been on both sides. As a football coach, my record was not very good. My 9 years as a football coach. Basketball coach, my record is pretty good. Um, but I'm the same coach. One was I was learning, learning along the way. I learned in both respects. But the key was the approach that we took, regardless of what the outcome was. And that was to help build our young men to see life differently, from a holistic standpoint, and provide them opportunities to be able to go to the next level, whatever the next level was for them, and be prepared to go to that next level. And so that's the goal here as well. Like I said, I don't know how many basketball games we'll win. Hopefully, we can win them all, or at least win the majority of them. Uh, but when it's all said and done, we want to be able to provide an environment or culture that is holistic in their approach, where we're, being balanced. We have academics. That's what they're here for. One of the reasons they're here is for academics. The other one is for, basketball, because scholarship wise or walk on, whatever it may be, that's what they're here to do. And so we want to make sure we provide the resources needed for them to be able to be their best.
Mhm,
And so that is essentially what we're trying to do to help build the culture of winning, not just on the court, but in their lives as well. And it takes, resources to make that happen, but it also takes relationships. And the blessing that we have is to be able to have great relationships. And it's not just my relationships, it's everyone's relationships to be able to help us get to where we're trying to get to. And so the alumni support has been very good. I'm actually heading to Chicago tomorrow for alumni event there, along with Coach Gordon, Bridget Gordon, the women's coach. So we're making our rounds we've made our rounds to quite a few alumni events, just to share what we're doing and what we're trying to get done. Team bonding is something that we put a heavy emphasis on,
mhm,
trying to make sure that we're getting that part taken care of. We did a paint and drip deal on some shoes, so that was a good one. We've done team meals. We're going to be doing a community outreach event next week. Um, so it's been we were talking about building a culture. That's one of the things that's things that we're trying to do outside of just we've done court work as well. That's just another bonding activity, and they're in the weight room. So there are multiple ways of building a culture, but the biggest thing is, we may not have all of the resources that others may have, but we
Mhm.
want to make sure that what we do have, we're being we're doing the best we we can with it, but also just loving on the young men,
Mhm.
giving them the attention that they need from from a mindset standpoint, from mental standpoint, from a physical standpoint, and spiritually. So those are things that we're working towards, trying to build a culture where people can trust the work that we're doing. Because when you build great relationships off the court and they trust you, then they don't mind doing the necessary things on to help everyone be successful. So
Mhm.
that's where our coaches were, at Florida State when I played. The coaches that I have great relationships today, that's what they did for me. And I saw them do the same thing for the players, and that's why we were successful in those situations. And so I just want to mimic that success.
Mhm. No, I love all of that. And so, looking ahead, after all of that that you're building and working with the team and the alumni base, looking ahead, the 25-26 season is right around the corner. We're less than 50 days away. What is something that you are excited about in terms of the season and then in terms of the future with FAMU men's basketball and the direction you plan to take the program?
Well, we're really excited about our team this year.
Mhm.
We feel like we have a chance to win every game, which is always the goal. And as a
Mhm.
coach, you want to at least feel like you can.
Right.
I'm not
You
saying
at
we
least
will win the game, but our team, is doing a great job in the weight room, preparing ourselves for that. And we're doing work on the court to help prepare for that as well.
Mhm.
And we're working with administration to help us with some other resources to be able to help us navigate and get over those humps that we need. But they're also helping us fill the gap um, with some of the needs that we're looking to improve here, which is a great blessing. And we have a couple exhibition games. One starting off with Edward Waters, October 21st, and then we play at the Tucker Center, FSU. Was a big game for me
Mhm.
personally. I wanted to be able to get that on the schedule, and then understand why the game hadn't been played um, for 33 years or whatever it was. I was actually in the last game that
Oh
was
my
played.
goodness.
Um, yeah, so that tell you how long that's been. Uh, but um, but
Yourself too much.
I wanted to see how. Say again.
Don't age yourself too much now.
Yeah, I mean, I was in the game 33 years ago. Uh, but um, but I was grateful that we got a chance. Coach Luke and I, talked about it once all this started to happen, about just trying to make it happen. And so we were able to get into the game where there's really no loss in a sense, because there's no win, no loss because of an exhibition.
Yeah.
But it's a great community um, togetherness. I've
Mhm.
heard quite a few people say they're excited about us playing once again, young and old, and they're looking forward to attending. And so that's a good thing for us. And then we strategically, um, for our season, we were strategic in our non-conference this year. We wanted to make sure that we weren't traveling or flying a lot.
Mhm.
So A lot of our games this year are, Tampa, Orlando, Atlanta, Athens, and the one trip that we do have, or Jacksonville is another one. And then the one trip that we are on December 19th and TCU on the 21st. And so those are, what we were looking to do strategically. I know here we haven't had a winning season in quite some time, but not saying that we'll have a winning season this year, but we want to at least give ourselves a chance to
Mhm.
have a successful season. The SWAC tournament, not tournament, the SWAC schedule starts June 3rd. Sorry, January 3rd against BCU.
Mhm.
So we start with Bethune-Cookman and we end with Bethune-Cookman and all the teams in between.
Mhm.
And of course, this is my first time in the SWAC. Heard on the road is really, really hard and difficult and tough.
Mhm.
Um, so that's par for the course, and we'll have to navigate, that part of it. And then the goal for the SWAC is, of course, just like everyone else, to win the SWAC. Like
Mhm.
that's that's everyone's goal,
Right.
is to win the SWAC. So it won't be easy doing it, but we feel like everyone else. Everyone feel like they have a chance to
Mhm.
win, and so we'll compete just like they'll compete. We have some really good coaches and teams that have been assembled in the SWAC, and we know we're a one bid league. So it's like, when there's only one bid, there's a big fight,
Mhm.
for it. And so I know that they'll prepare the same way as we're preparing, and we just have to understand and know that it's not going to be easy. So we will know.
Yeah, I mean the SWAC. As someone, when I was at FAMU, we played in the MEAC, but still just as intense. And this men's basketball season
Yes.
is looking to be an incredible season, just based on all the rosters on paper and the schedules. And I also love that you guys are staying close because there are such huge FAMU alumni bases in Tampa and Atlanta and Jacksonville. So family needs to come out and support, and I'm looking forward to following your success and your guys' team this season. And I wish you guys all the best.
I appreciate you having me on, and you have a really cool name. Live for
Thank
Hoops.
you. Thank you.